Question 1. A Scrum Master observes that the development team frequently struggles to deliver a done increment each sprint due to persistent external dependencies and a lack of cross-functional skills within the team. What is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master to take in this situation? A. Take over some of the development team's tasks to help them complete the increment. B. Report the team's underperformance to management and request a restructuring of the team. C. Facilitate discussions with management and other relevant teams to identify and resolve systemic impediments that hinder the team's self-management and cross-functionality. D. Implement a stricter sprint backlog management process and enforce longer working hours to meet sprint goals. Answer: C. Facilitate discussions with management and other relevant teams to identify and resolve systemic impediments that hinder the team's self-management and cross-functionality. The Scrum Master's primary role is to serve the organization in its Scrum adoption, which includes identifying and removing impediments that hinder the Scrum team's progress, especially those beyond the team's immediate control. Persistent external dependencies and lack of cross-functional skills are organizational impediments that require systemic changes, not just team-level adjustments. A Scrum Master acts as a change agent, helping management understand how their structures or processes impact the team's ability to be self-managing and deliver value. For example, if a team constantly waits on a specific external department for testing, the Scrum Master should facilitate a conversation with that department's leadership to explore solutions, perhaps even integrating that expertise within the Scrum team or streamlining the handoff. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the organization improve its ability to deliver value by addressing the root causes of impediments. Question 2. The development team is consistently struggling with a high amount of technical debt, which slows down new feature development and increases bugs. The product owner is primarily focused on delivering new features and has not prioritized addressing this debt. What is the Scrum Master's most effective approach? A. Insist the product owner dedicate a full sprint to resolving technical debt to improve team morale. B. Coach the product owner on the long-term impact of technical debt on value delivery and sustainability, and help the development team articulate its consequences. C. Add technical debt items to the sprint backlog directly without the product owner's approval to ensure they are addressed. D. Advise the development team to work extra hours to resolve technical debt without impacting new feature delivery. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on the long-term impact of technical debt on value delivery and sustainability, and help the development team articulate its consequences. A key responsibility of the Scrum Master is to coach the product owner and the development team, helping them understand the principles and practices of Scrum. Technical debt, while not directly a feature, significantly impacts the ability to deliver new features efficiently and sustainably in the long run. The Scrum Master should facilitate a dialogue where the development team can explain the concrete risks and costs associated with unaddressed technical debt, such as slower development, increased defects, and reduced ability to respond to market changes. This coaching helps the product owner make informed decisions about prioritizing work that sustains the product's health alongside new features, ensuring the product remains viable and adaptable. Think of it like maintaining a car. Ignoring necessary repairs for too long will eventually prevent it from getting you where you need to go. Question 3. During a sprint review, key stakeholders express concerns about the lack of transparency regarding future release plans and complain about not knowing what to expect next from the product. How should the Scrum Master address this? A. Tell the stakeholders that the product owner is responsible for release planning and they should direct their questions to them. B. Facilitate a discussion between the product owner, development team, and stakeholders to collaboratively forecast future potential functionality and understand market needs, emphasizing empiricism. C. Suggest to the product owner that they create a detailed, fixed roadmap for the next year to satisfy stakeholder demands. D. Advise the development team to spend more time detailing product backlog items further in advance to create a clearer long-term plan. Answer: B. Facilitate a discussion between the product owner, development team, and stakeholders to collaboratively forecast future potential functionality and understand market needs, emphasizing empiricism. The Scrum Master serves the organization and the product owner by helping them interact effectively with stakeholders and understand empiricism. While the product owner is accountable for the product backlog, the Scrum Master can facilitate the dialogue to increase transparency about what is most likely next, acknowledging the dynamic nature of product development. Engaging all parties in a collaborative forecasting session, rather than promising a fixed plan, allows for a shared understanding of the product vision and adapts to change. This approach reinforces Scrum's empirical pillars by using the sprint review as an opportunity for inspection and adaptation regarding the product's direction. Remember, a Scrum Master coaches for effective collaboration and transparency, not for creating rigid, long-term commitments. Question 4. The Scrum Master notices that the development team is consistently overcommitting during sprint planning, leading to frequently incomplete sprint goals. What action should the Scrum Master prioritize? A. Encourage the development team to commit to fewer items and focus on quality rather than quantity. B. Facilitate a retrospective discussion focused on understanding the root causes of overcommitment and helping the team improve their forecasting ability. C. Suggest that the product owner remove some items from the sprint backlog once the sprint has started to ease the pressure. D. Take over the estimation process for the development team to ensure more realistic commitments. Answer: B. Facilitate a retrospective discussion focused on understanding the root causes of overcommitment and helping the team improve their forecasting ability. The Scrum Master serves the Scrum team by facilitating Scrum events and helping the team continuously improve its practices. When a team consistently overcommits, it indicates a pattern that needs inspection and adaptation, making the sprint retrospective the ideal forum for addressing this issue. The Scrum Master should guide the team to explore why they are overcommitting, perhaps due to pressure, poor estimation, or external influences, and then help them devise strategies to improve their sprint planning and forecasting. This empowers the team to solve their own challenges, rather than having solutions imposed upon them. Always remember that the Scrum Master fosters self-management and continuous improvement within the team. Question 5. An organization is struggling with the adoption of Scrum beyond individual teams, facing resistance from middle management who are accustomed to traditional command and control structures. What is the most valuable contribution a Scrum Master can make in this scenario? A. Develop a detailed new organizational structure and present it to senior leadership for approval. B. Coach middle management on Agile principles and values, helping them understand their new role in supporting self-managing teams and fostering an Agile mindset. C. Insist that all managers attend mandatory Agile training, regardless of their willingness. D. Focus solely on protecting the individual Scrum teams from management interference, isolating them from organizational change efforts. Answer: B. Coach middle management on Agile principles and values, helping them understand their new role in supporting self-managing teams and fostering an Agile mindset. A key responsibility of an advanced Scrum Master is to serve the organization by helping it adopt and implement Scrum, which often involves challenging existing norms and mindsets. Middle management, in particular, may struggle with the shift from directing tasks to supporting and empowering self-managing teams. The Scrum Master acts as a change agent and coach, helping these managers understand how their leadership style needs to adapt to foster agility, focusing on servant leadership and removing impediments rather than issuing commands. For instance, the Scrum Master might facilitate workshops with managers to explore how trust and transparency can improve outcomes more than micromanagement. Remember, organizational change is a journey, and the Scrum Master guides different parts of the system through it. Question 6. A Scrum Master observes that the product owner is constantly overwhelmed by a large number of stakeholders with conflicting demands, leading to a frequently shifting product goal and a lack of clear direction for the development team. What is the best way for the Scrum Master to support the product owner? A. Advise the product owner to ignore some stakeholders to reduce the number of inputs. B. Take over some of the product owner's stakeholder communication responsibilities to lighten their load. C. Coach the product owner on advanced stakeholder management techniques, such as stakeholder mapping, value prioritization, and effective communication strategies to align diverse interests. D. Arrange for the development team to meet directly with all stakeholders to get clarification on requirements. Answer: C. Coach the product owner on advanced stakeholder management techniques, such as stakeholder mapping, value prioritization, and effective communication strategies to align diverse interests. The Scrum Master serves the product owner in several ways, including helping them find techniques for effective product backlog management and facilitating stakeholder collaboration. When a product owner is overwhelmed by conflicting stakeholder demands, it points to a need for more sophisticated stakeholder management. The Scrum Master can coach the product owner on how to identify key stakeholders, understand their needs, and prioritize value effectively, ensuring that the product goal remains clear and consistent. For example, the Scrum Master might suggest a workshop where the product owner can facilitate a consensus-building discussion among critical stakeholders regarding the most important product outcomes. The goal is to empower the product owner, not to take over their accountabilities. Question 7. The development team is highly effective and self-organizing, consistently delivering done increments. However, they sometimes isolate themselves from the broader organization, leading to a lack of awareness of organizational strategy changes or broader business context. What is the Scrum Master's role in this situation? A. Instruct the development team to attend more company-wide meetings to stay informed. B. Arrange for cross-team meetings and encourage transparent information radiators that connect the team's work to the larger organizational goals and impact. C. Facilitate discussions during sprint reviews to ensure stakeholders actively share strategic updates and the team understands their broader impact. D. Focus solely on protecting the team's autonomy, as their isolation does not directly impede sprint goal achievement. Answer: C. Facilitate discussions during sprint reviews to ensure stakeholders actively share strategic updates and the team understands their broader impact. The Scrum Master serves the organization by facilitating the adoption and understanding of Scrum, and this includes fostering effective collaboration and transparency between the Scrum team and its environment. While a self-managing team is excellent, awareness of the broader organizational context is crucial for ensuring the team's efforts are aligned with evolving business needs and strategy. The sprint review is a perfect event for this, as it is designed for inspection and adaptation with stakeholders, providing an opportunity to share strategic updates and for the team to gain a deeper understanding of the product's impact. A Scrum Master creates an environment where vital information flows freely, enhancing the team's ability to deliver value relevant to the organization's evolving landscape. Question 8. During a sprint retrospective, the development team identifies a significant impediment related to a legacy system that frequently fails, causing delays and rework. This system is managed by another department entirely. What is the Scrum Master's primary responsibility in this scenario? A. Advise the development team to find a workaround for the legacy system issues. B. Escalate the issue to senior management immediately and demand a resolution. C. Facilitate communication and collaboration between the development team and the other department to explore solutions or escalate the issue through appropriate organizational channels if necessary. D. Document the impediment and present it at the next sprint review as a reason for potential delays. Answer: C. Facilitate communication and collaboration between the development team and the other department to explore solutions or escalate the issue through appropriate organizational channels if necessary. The Scrum Master's role involves removing impediments to the Scrum team's progress, especially those that lie outside the team's control. When an impediment involves another department, the Scrum Master acts as a bridge, facilitating necessary conversations and fostering collaboration to find a resolution. This might involve setting up meetings, coaching both parties on effective communication, or helping the team articulate the impact of the impediment. Only if direct collaboration proves ineffective would the Scrum Master escalate the issue through established organizational channels, ensuring visibility and continued effort toward resolution. A Scrum Master empowers the team to identify problems and then actively works to remove systemic blockers. Question 9. The product owner is struggling to manage a very large and complex product backlog, making it difficult to keep it ordered and transparent. What advanced technique could the Scrum Master coach the product owner on to improve this situation? A. Suggest they delegate product backlog management to the development team. B. Coach the product owner on product backlog splitting techniques, using tools like story mapping or impact mapping to visualize and manage complexity, and regularly prune outdated items. C. Advise them to stop refining the product backlog and only focus on the next sprint's items. D. Recommend they create multiple product backlogs, one for each major feature area. Answer. B. Coach the product owner on product backlog splitting techniques, using tools like story mapping or impact mapping to visualize and manage complexity, and regularly prune outdated items. An effective product owner requires skill in managing the product backlog to maximize value and maintain transparency, especially for large and complex products. The Scrum Master serves the product owner by coaching them on advanced techniques to improve this accountability. Techniques like story mapping help visualize the user journey and prioritize features, while impact mapping connects product features to desired business outcomes, aiding in strategic ordering. Regularly reviewing and pruning outdated items keeps the backlog lean and focused. This coaching helps the product owner strategically manage complexity, ensuring the product backlog remains a clear, ordered representation of work to be done. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the product owner master their craft, rather than doing the work for them. Question 10. During a sprint retrospective, the development team expresses frustration that their definition of done is not consistent across the organization, leading to integration issues when their increment needs to combine with work from other Scrum teams. What is the most effective action for the Scrum Master? A. Instruct the development team to enforce their own definition of done more strictly, regardless of other teams. B. Facilitate a cross-team workshop involving representatives from all relevant Scrum teams and possibly management, to establish a shared, overarching definition of done for the entire product or organization. C. Advise the team that a consistent definition of done across multiple teams is not practical in complex organizations. D. Suggest that the team creates a separate, integration sprint, at the end of every few sprints to address these issues. Answer. B. Facilitate a cross-team workshop involving representatives from all relevant Scrum teams and possibly management, to establish a shared, overarching definition of done for the entire product or organization. The Scrum Guide states that if there are multiple Scrum teams working on the same product, they must mutually define and comply with the same definition of done. A consistent definition of done ensures that all teams produce releasable increments that can be integrated seamlessly, reducing integration issues and improving transparency. The Scrum Master, acting as a change agent and facilitator across the organization, should initiate and guide discussions among the affected teams and relevant stakeholders to create this common understanding and agreement. This fosters a shared responsibility for quality and integration, vital for delivering a single, cohesive product. Always remember that a strong definition of done reduces uncertainty and builds trust in the product's quality. Question 11. The product owner is finding it challenging to engage stakeholders effectively during the sprint review, often receiving minimal feedback or only superficial comments. What could the Scrum Master do to improve stakeholder engagement in this event? A. Advise the product owner to conduct one-on-one meetings with stakeholders outside the sprint review to gather feedback. B. Coach the product owner and the development team on making the sprint review more interactive and outcome-focused, perhaps using liberating structures or other facilitation techniques. C. Reduce the frequency of sprint reviews to avoid stakeholder fatigue. D. Tell the development team to prepare a more polished presentation to impress stakeholders. Answer. B. Coach the product owner and the development team on making the sprint review more interactive and outcome-focused, perhaps using liberating structures or other facilitation techniques. The sprint review is a crucial event for inspecting the increment, adapting the product backlog, and collaborating with stakeholders. If engagement is low, the Scrum Master's role is to coach the product owner and development team on how to make the event more dynamic and valuable. Techniques like liberating structures encourage active participation and shared problem-solving, moving beyond a simple demonstration. By making the sprint review more engaging and focusing discussions on actual outcomes and future direction, stakeholders are more likely to provide meaningful feedback, fostering genuine collaboration and shared ownership of the product. An effective sprint review is a vibrant conversation, not just a presentation. Question 12. A new manager has been assigned to oversee the department where a Scrum team operates. This manager consistently assigns tasks directly to individual development team members, bypassing the product owner and the sprint backlog. How should the Scrum Master address this? A. Inform the development team that they must follow the manager's instructions as they are their hierarchical superior. B. Coach the manager on the principles of Scrum, particularly the concepts of self-managing teams, the product owner's accountability for the product backlog, and the importance of empowering the Scrum team. C. Redirect all the manager's requests to the product owner without explanation. D. Schedule a mandatory training session for the manager on the entire Scrum guide. Answer: B. Coach the manager on the principles of Scrum, particularly the concepts of self-managing teams, the product owner's accountability for the product backlog, and the importance of empowering the Scrum team. The Scrum Master serves the organization by helping it understand and enact Scrum. This includes coaching managers and other stakeholders on how their roles and interactions need to change to support Scrum teams effectively. Directly assigning tasks bypasses Scrum's mechanisms for transparency and prioritization, the product backlog, and undermines the team's self-management. The Scrum Master should engage the manager in a constructive conversation, explaining the value of directing requests through the product owner and allowing the development team to pull work according to their sprint goal and capacity. This helps the manager transition from a command and control mindset to a supportive, servant leadership approach. Question 13. The development team is highly effective in developing features but struggles with estimating the complexity or effort of product backlog items, leading to inconsistent sprint planning and occasional overcommitment. What is the most beneficial action for the Scrum Master? A. Provide the team with a spreadsheet of historical data and instruct them to use it for future estimates. B. Coach the development team on various estimation techniques, such as story points with planning poker, t-shirt sizing, or relative estimation, and help them reflect on their accuracy during retrospectives. C. Take over the estimation process to ensure accurate forecasts for the product owner. D. Tell the product owner to provide more detailed requirements to make estimation easier for the team. Answer: B. Coach the development team on various estimation techniques, such as story points with planning poker, t-shirt sizing, or relative estimation, and help them reflect on their accuracy during retrospectives. The development team is accountable for creating a done increment each sprint and for creating the sprint backlog, which includes forecasting. If they are struggling with estimation, the Scrum Master should act as a coach and facilitator, introducing them to different estimation techniques that can improve their forecasting ability. Rather than imposing a method, the Scrum Master empowers the team to choose and refine their own approach, then encourages them to inspect and adapt their estimation accuracy during sprint retrospectives. For instance, facilitating a planning poker session and discussing discrepancies can help the team build a shared understanding and improve their collective judgment over time. The goal is to build the team's capability, not to do the work for them. Question 14. An organization is considering implementing a new performance review system for individuals that focuses on traditional metrics like hours worked and individual task completion. The Scrum Master recognizes this as a potential threat to Scrum team effectiveness. What should the Scrum Master do? A. Advocate for team-level metrics and collective accountability rather than individual performance tracking that undermines self-management and collaboration. B. Accept the new system, as individual performance reviews are outside the Scrum Master's scope. C. Advise the development team to inflate their hours worked to meet the new metrics. D. Focus on ensuring the team meets its sprint goals, as this will naturally demonstrate their performance. Answer: A. Advocate for team-level metrics and collective accountability rather than individual performance tracking that undermines self-management and collaboration. The Scrum Master serves the organization in its Scrum adoption, which includes helping adapt organizational processes and metrics to support, rather than hinder, Scrum. Individual performance metrics based on hours or individual task completion often discourage collaboration, create silos, and undermine the concept of a self-managing Scrum team that shares collective accountability for the increment. The Scrum Master should engage with management to explain how such systems conflict with Scrum values and principles, advocating for metrics that reflect team output, value delivery, and collective performance. For example, focusing on the number of done product backlog items or customer satisfaction metrics better aligns with Scrum's emphasis on delivered value. The Scrum Master acts as a change agent, helping the organization align its practices with an agile mindset. Question 15. The Scrum Master observes that the product owner is frequently absent during product backlog refinement sessions, leading to an unprepared development team during sprint planning and delays. What is the most helpful action for the Scrum Master? A. Ask the development team to continue refinement without the product owner, making assumptions if necessary. B. Take over the product backlog refinement sessions to ensure they happen. C. Coach the product owner on the importance of regular and collaborative product backlog refinement for maximizing value and ensuring a ready product backlog for sprint planning. D. Cancel sprint planning until the product owner is available for refinement. Answer: C. Coach the product owner on the importance of regular and collaborative product backlog refinement for maximizing value and ensuring a ready product backlog for sprint planning. The Scrum Master serves the product owner by helping them find techniques for effective product backlog management. Product backlog refinement is an ongoing activity where the product owner and development team collaborate to add detail, estimates, and order to product backlog items, making them ready for future sprints. The product owner's active participation is crucial for clarity and prioritization. The Scrum Master should coach the product owner on how their absence impacts the team's ability to plan and deliver, emphasizing that a well-refined product backlog is essential for consistent value delivery and efficient sprint planning. This helps the product owner understand their vital role in fostering an efficient flow of work. Question 16. The development team consistently fails to integrate their work frequently, leading to a large integration effort at the end of the sprint, which often causes delays and quality issues. What action should the Scrum Master take? A. Mandate a daily integration time slot where all team members must commit their code. B. Facilitate a discussion in the retrospective about the importance of continuous integration and coach the team on techniques to integrate more frequently, possibly highlighting the benefits of smaller commits and automated tests. C. Report the integration issues to the product owner so they can adjust the sprint goal. D. Hire a dedicated integration engineer to manage the process for the team. Answer: B. Facilitate a discussion in the retrospective about the importance of continuous integration and coach the team on techniques to integrate more frequently, possibly highlighting the benefits of smaller commits and automated tests. The Scrum Master helps the development team to improve their processes and practices, which includes fostering technical excellence. Frequent integration is a cornerstone of Agile development, ensuring that work is continually verifiable, reduces the risk of large, complex merge conflicts, and supports the creation of a done increment every sprint. The Scrum Master should use the sprint retrospective as an opportunity for the team to inspect this issue and adapt their working agreements. Coaching on practices like continuous integration, smaller changes, and automated testing can significantly improve their ability to integrate effectively. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the team mature its practices to deliver high-quality, usable increments. Question 17. An established Scrum team has become very comfortable and effective, but the Scrum Master observes that they rarely initiate new process improvements in the retrospective, preferring to stick to familiar routines. What is the Scrum Master's most important action here? A. Introduce radical new tools and processes to shake up the team's routine. B. Challenge the team to identify areas for growth and experiment with new approaches, perhaps introducing liberating structures or other facilitation techniques to spark fresh ideas. C. Conclude that the team has reached optimal performance and reduce the frequency of retrospectives. D. Take on the responsibility of proposing improvements to the team to ensure progress continues. Answer: B. Challenge the team to identify areas for growth and experiment with new approaches, perhaps introducing liberating structures or other facilitation techniques to spark fresh ideas. The Scrum Master fosters continuous improvement, and even highly effective teams can benefit from ongoing reflection and adaptation. When a team becomes complacent in their process improvements, the Scrum Master's role is to challenge them, creating a safe environment for experimentation and innovation. Introducing new facilitation techniques, like liberating structures, can break routine thinking patterns and encourage the team to look beyond obvious problems for deeper, systemic improvements. This active coaching helps the team maintain a growth mindset and ensures they continue to evolve their practices, preventing stagnation and maximizing their potential. Remember, continuous improvement means always seeking better ways, even when things are going well. Question 18. The product owner frequently changes the order of the product backlog items within a sprint, mid-sprint, in response to new stakeholder requests. This often disrupts the development team's focus and leads to unfinished work. What is the Scrum Master's best response? A. Tell the product owner that they are not allowed to change the sprint backlog once the sprint has started. B. Coach the product owner on the sprint goal's importance as a commitment for the sprint, and the impact of mid-sprint changes on the development team's ability to achieve it and maintain focus. C. Facilitate a mini-sprint planning meeting every time the product owner wants to make a change. D. Document all changes and present them to management at the end of the sprint. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on the sprint goal's importance as a commitment for the sprint, and the impact of mid-sprint changes on the development team's ability to achieve it and maintain focus. The sprint goal is a commitment made by the Scrum team, providing focus and flexibility for the development team during the sprint. Frequent changes to the sprint backlog mid-sprint undermine this commitment, disrupt the team's flow, and can prevent them from achieving the sprint goal. The Scrum Master's role is to coach the product owner on the integrity of the sprint, explaining how such changes introduce instability and reduce predictability. The Scrum Master should emphasize that new insights are welcome but typically inform future sprints, allowing the current sprint to maintain focus. This helps the product owner balance responsiveness to new information with the need for sprint stability. Question 19. A development team is struggling with trust issues among its members, leading to reluctance in giving or receiving constructive feedback, and a lack of open communication. How should the Scrum Master address this? A. Implement a mandatory peer review system to force feedback. B. Facilitate a series of workshops focused on building psychological safety, active listening, and conflict resolution skills, fostering an environment where open and honest communication is safe. C. Mediate every single disagreement between team members until trust is established. D. Inform management about the trust issues and ask them to intervene. Answer: B. Facilitate a series of workshops focused on building psychological safety, active listening, and conflict resolution skills, fostering an environment where open and honest communication is safe. The Scrum Master is a true leader who serves the Scrum team by coaching them in self-management and cross-functionality, and this includes fostering a healthy team dynamic. Trust and psychological safety are foundational for effective teamwork, enabling open communication, constructive feedback, and efficient problem-solving. The Scrum Master can facilitate activities and discussions designed to build these essential elements, helping the team learn to communicate more effectively and resolve conflicts maturely. For example, using empathy maps or check-in rounds can create a space for vulnerability and understanding. The goal is to equip the team with the skills and environment they need to foster trust themselves, rather than acting as a perpetual mediator. Question 20. The organization's traditional budgeting process requires fixed, detailed annual plans and expenditure approvals, which conflicts with Scrum's empirical, iterative approach to funding and value delivery. What is the Scrum Master's role in addressing this organizational challenge? A. Advise the Scrum team to provide highly detailed estimates for the entire year to comply with the budgeting process. B. Coach organizational leadership on Agile budgeting principles, such as rolling forecasts, value stream funding, and funding teams over projects, to align financial practices with empiricism. C. Ignore the budgeting process and focus solely on the sprint-by-sprint delivery of the team. D. Offer to manage the annual budget for the Scrum team to ensure compliance. Answer: B. Coach organizational leadership on Agile budgeting principles, such as rolling forecasts, value stream funding, and funding teams over projects, to align financial practices with empiricism. The Scrum Master serves the organization in its Scrum adoption, which often means addressing systemic issues that hinder agility, such as traditional budgeting. Fixed annual budgets can stifle innovation and adaptability by locking in plans before learning occurs. The Scrum Master should act as a change agent, educating leadership on how Agile funding models, like funding stable teams or value streams, align better with iterative development and allow for continuous adaptation based on empirical feedback. This shift enables the organization to respond more effectively to market changes and maximize value. Think of it like investing in a capable exploration team rather than a fixed path to a treasure that might move. Question 21. A Scrum Master notices that stakeholders frequently bypass the product owner and directly approach the development team with new ideas or requests, causing confusion and distracting the team from the sprint goal. How should the Scrum Master respond? A. Instruct the development team to ignore all requests that do not come from the product owner. B. Facilitate a conversation between the product owner, development team, and stakeholders to clarify roles, emphasize the product owner as the single point of accountability for the product backlog, and explain the process for engaging the team. C. Implement a formal communication gate, requiring all stakeholder requests to go through the Scrum Master first. D. Suggest that the product owner becomes more available to stakeholders 24/7 to prevent direct team contact. Answer: B. Facilitate a conversation between the product owner, development team, and stakeholders to clarify roles, emphasize the product owner as the single point of accountability for the product backlog, and explain the process for engaging the team. The Scrum Master serves the organization by fostering clear understanding and effective interaction among all parties involved with the Scrum team. The product owner is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team, primarily by managing the product backlog as the single source of work. When stakeholders bypass the product owner, it undermines this accountability, creates confusion for the team, and threatens the sprint goal. The Scrum Master should facilitate a direct, constructive dialogue to clarify these accountabilities and establish a common understanding of how stakeholders can best contribute their ideas through the product owner. This ensures a transparent and ordered flow of work into the team. Question 22. During the daily Scrum, the development team members consistently report their progress to the Scrum Master instead of collaborating among themselves on the sprint goal. What is the best coaching approach for the Scrum Master? A. Stop attending the daily Scrum to force the team to self-organize. B. Physically position themselves outside the team's circle and prompt them to address each other and discuss their plan for achieving the sprint goal. C. Lead the daily Scrum by asking each team member direct questions about their individual tasks. D. Inform the product owner that the team is not performing well in the daily Scrum. Answer: B. Physically position themselves outside the team's circle and prompt them to address each other and discuss their plan for achieving the sprint goal. The daily Scrum is an event for the development team to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as needed, not a status report to the Scrum Master. When the team reports to the Scrum Master, it indicates a lack of self-management and understanding of the event's purpose. The Scrum Master's role is to ensure the event happens and that the team understands its purpose within the Scrum framework, then observe and coach. By subtly changing their physical presence and offering gentle prompts, the Scrum Master can guide the team to address each other, discuss their collective plan, and truly self-manage the daily work, without directly leading the meeting. This empowers the team to own their commitments and collaboration. Question 23. A Scrum Master observes that the sprint review has become a mundane status meeting where the development team simply demonstrates features, and there's very little discussion or valuable feedback from stakeholders. What should the Scrum Master do? A. Encourage the development team to prepare more elaborate presentations to impress stakeholders. B. Coach the product owner and development team on making the sprint review a collaborative working session, focusing on gathering feedback, discussing market conditions, and refining the product backlog for future sprints. C. Advise the Scrum team to skip the sprint review if there's nothing significant to demonstrate. D. Take detailed notes during the sprint review and circulate them to stakeholders afterward. Answer. B. Coach the product owner and development team on making the sprint review a collaborative working session, focusing on gathering feedback, discussing market conditions, and refining the product backlog for future sprints. The sprint review is a crucial opportunity for inspection and adaptation, allowing the Scrum team and stakeholders to collaboratively review the increment and the current state of the product, and together decide what to do next. If it's a mere demonstration, its potential for valuable feedback and strategic alignment is lost. The Scrum Master's role is to coach the Scrum team and stakeholders on how to maximize the value of this event by turning it into a dynamic conversation about the product's direction and market needs. Encouraging discussion about market conditions, financial forecasts, or evolving customer needs alongside the increment demonstration makes the review a powerful planning tool. Remember, the sprint review is an informal opportunity for shared learning and adaptation. Question 24. A Scrum Master is working with multiple Scrum teams within an organization. They notice inconsistent application of Scrum, with some teams not holding all events or adapting roles. What is the Scrum Master's primary responsibility in this situation? A. Inform the leadership about the non-compliance and recommend disciplinary action. B. Provide consistent coaching across all teams and relevant stakeholders on the importance of Scrum's framework elements, helping them understand the empirical benefits of adherence and guiding them through adoption challenges. C. Focus only on the most compliant team and use them as an example for others. D. Create a detailed Scrum implementation plan and mandate its adoption for all teams. Answer. B. Provide consistent coaching across all teams and relevant stakeholders on the importance of Scrum's framework elements, helping them understand the empirical benefits of adherence and guiding them through adoption challenges. The Scrum Master serves the organization in its Scrum adoption, which means fostering understanding and effective practice across all relevant teams and individuals. Inconsistent Scrum application often stems from a lack of understanding of the why behind Scrum's rules or challenges in adapting to new ways of working. The Scrum Master's role is not to enforce rules but to coach, explain the underlying principles, empiricism, self-management, continuous improvement, and help teams and stakeholders navigate the journey of change. By explaining the empirical value of Scrum events and roles, the Scrum Master helps teams internalize Scrum and improve their chances of delivering valuable products consistently. Think of it as guiding an organization through a learning curve, rather than simply issuing commands. Question 25. The development team is highly reliant on the Scrum Master to resolve all external impediments, showing little initiative to tackle problems themselves. What action should the Scrum Master prioritize to foster greater self-management? A. Stop addressing any impediments until the team takes initiative. B. Coach the development team on problem-solving techniques, empowering them to identify and proactively resolve their own impediments where possible, and teaching them when to escalate. C. Create a detailed process for impediment resolution and force the team to follow it. D. Take on even more impediments to show dedication and speed up delivery. Answer: B. Coach the development team on problem-solving techniques, empowering them to identify and proactively resolve their own impediments where possible, and teaching them when to escalate. A core accountability of the Scrum Master is to foster the development team's self-management and continuous improvement. If the team is overly reliant on the Scrum Master to solve all impediments, it indicates an opportunity to coach them towards greater autonomy. The Scrum Master should empower the team by equipping them with problem-solving skills, helping them understand what types of impediments they can resolve internally versus when external help or escalation is truly needed. For example, a Scrum Master might guide a team through a problem-solving session during a retrospective, leading them to identify and own their resolution plan for a recurring technical issue. The goal is to build the team's capacity to navigate challenges independently, not to be their sole problem solver.